to take something that's actually so pure at its core and like twist it into something so sinister and rip you of your agency and to like, it's so evil to me. It's so evil. And yeah, so I won't shut the fuck up about it. Now that I'm here, I actually feel like emotional. But like I tell my story very calmly and composed. So I don't know why I feel emotional now. Maybe because I actually don't know why, but.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
Just take it nice and slow.
Yeah.
When did you move to LA?
I moved to LA in 2019. Yeah. Oh. Damn it, my nail. I moved to LA in 2019 to pursue my goals. Basically, after a divorce, I was married for like 5 years. And so I was like young, but also late, because I was my late 20s. So I moved there when I was like 27 to start over. And I always wanted to be a dancer, like a professional dancer. Like I love dance. So I wanted to tour. I wanted to take classes and basically pursue all of my passions and dreams and goals that I had put somewhere else, like I had put to the side my whole life. So when I moved to LA, I knew nobody. I met a girl on Instagram, and we both were getting divorced at the same time. We both got cheated on and were getting divorced. And then I moved in with her, and we became best friends. So that was like my one friend that I had in LA. But I was broke. I didn't have like stable income. I impulsively booked a one-way flight to start over because it was very hard to be in my hometown while mid all of this. So I didn't have the industry experience at all, actually. Like I knew nothing. I thought I knew things, but I didn't. And so I didn't know how it worked. And I remember making friends with a girl who was an influencer. At the time, I was also doing social media, and I had started doing that and wanted to pursue that. So she invited me to an influencer event, and it was called Sneakertopia in 2019. And I went. That was the first time I met KP, who is the one that. And when I met him, he had come up to me and was like, "Oh, what's your name? I love your look." Like, it was the classic thing that you think of, that someone comes up to you and you feel chosen because they like your look. And you're like, this is how people get scouted for their life-changing opportunities. So I thought that that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to meet people and that are the right people to know, and then they book you for work, and then that's how you do it. So he was like, "I love your look. Do you live here?" And I was like, "I just moved to LA." And he was like, "Oh, amazing, welcome." Like, he was very welcoming, very warm, and immediately he was like, "Oh, cool, I'm a casting director, so I can book you for work. And I love your look." And I told him I was a dancer. I was very believe in manifestation a lot, so I would not be like, "Oh, I don't know how to yet." I was just basically putting myself in spaces and rooms where I could be like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm already ready to book it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, amazing, cool, I'm a dancer. And he was like, "Oh, that's great. I book music videos." And I loved the idea. I grew up watching MTV and music videos and in the 90s. And so I loved music videos. I loved the idea of being in music videos, making music videos, putting visuals to music. I would see music videos in my head. I would make them with my sister, with our little camera, the little old school one. And so that was something that I was really excited to do. I wanted to be in music videos with artists that I admired. Fast forward, he basically he never booked me for anything, but what ended up happening was, long story short, it's a long story, but the short version, is he would basically message me. I ended up leaving LA to go to South Africa for a little hiatus family trip for a few months that year, the first year I moved to LA. I also had some other weird experiences that were like, I kind of needed a break from the city because I was just experiencing things that were very, I was just very vulnerable, I guess. Like I dated a guy that stole my car, and he was basically a con man. And I didn't realize it until it was too late. I did get my car back, but anyways, that was just. So I left to South Africa for a few months, and while I was gone, he would text me, and he would be like, "When are you back? I've got work. I need to get you. I want to get you booked." And stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna let you know when I'm back. So I was very excited. So in my mind, me coming back to LA, I was like, I had this break, I feel good, and I'm gonna make money. And then when I came back to LA in 2020, right when COVID started, basically, and I went, and I was back in LA, he would text me and he would be like, he would ask me to send him pictures, and he would be like, hey, I have some people asking about you. I need you to send me a picture. And I was like, can you just use my Instagram? And he was like, well, they're asking right now, so I need you to take a picture in a bikini or lingerie, front and back, and I need you to send it to me right now. And he would make it urgent. And so, over text, and I was like, okay, well, someone's asking about me. So I would just go and I would do it, and I would go and take a selfie, front and back, and then I would just text it to him. I found out later that this was part of his MO that he would use on every other one of his victims. So it was he has a very specific playbook. And what ended up happening was, and he would also send me jobs, these text messages of jobs, and he would name drop these celebrities, and he would be like, music video, 2 days, $2,000 the rate, these are the dates, let me know if you're available. He would have just do all kinds of things. So it would create this sense of FOMO of oh my gosh, I hope they pick me. There's all these jobs that is things that I want to do. And also I need to make money. So he would create this thing, and he'd be like, let me know if you're available. And then I would be like, yes, I'm available, submit me. And he'd be like, cool, submitted. And then nothing ever came to fruition, but this is what he would do. So he always there was always this feeling of oh, something's gonna hit. They're gonna book me one day, one of these days. So during COVID, this was May 5th. So this was Cinco de Mayo in 2020. I left the house that one day as an exception because we weren't really leaving the house, right? Because a friend had invited me to Woodland Hills for a cookout for a Cinco de Mayo thing. And I was like, you know what, let me leave the house and do that. So it's the only reason why I left the house that day. And it was a little pool party. I was there for maybe 2 hours. And while I'm there, KP texts me, and he's like, hey, what are you up to? I have some people, some big names, and I need you to come by so I can introduce you. And he lived in Woodland Hills. So I looked at the address, and I saw it was 8 minutes away from where I was. So I was like, okay. Any other situation I would have been I'm not doing that. But I was like, oh, he's got people there in the studio right now. He made it sound so you need to come by, you need to meet these people. They want to meet you. And so I was like, okay, I'll go there on the way back. I'll stop by and meet these people. This is great. And that was when we spoke over the phone, I believe, and he had said, the specific thing he said that got me to go to his house is he said, Big Sean's manager is here. He wants to book you for tour. They're talking about an upcoming tour. Even though COVID, he's they're still making a lot of plans right now and they're figuring some stuff out. He made it sound possible, and he made it sound urgent, and that he wanted to meet me. And so
Last year, the Palisades fire tore through Los Angeles. Most people saw that story. What fewer people saw is that 2026 is shaping up to be the worst wildfire year on record globally. The total area burned worldwide is already more than 20% higher than any year since 2012. That story is out there. It's just being told differently depending on where you look. Left-leaning outlets are focused on the U.S. response, what the government is doing, and who's affected locally. Right-leaning outlets are covering the global scale, the scope, the numbers, what's happening in other countries. It's the same crisis, but with two completely different lenses. Neither version is lying, but if you're only reading sources on one side, you're only getting half the picture. That's something I think a lot about doing what I do. The people I sit down with, their stories get filtered the same way, shaped by who's telling it and who they're telling it to. That's why I use Ground News. It's an app that shows you how any story is being covered across the political spectrum, side by side. You can see each outlet's bias, how reliable they are, and who owns them. You can actually compare instead of just getting handed one version of the news. Check it out at ground.news/SWU. You'll get 40% off their Vantage plan. And by subscribing or gifting it, you're directly supporting this channel too. That's ground.news/SWU. Now back to the video.
I was like, holy shit, that's like, I want to go on tour as a dancer. Like, this is amazing. So I drove there, and at this point, it was like in the evening, it was like maybe 8 o'clock or like something like that. And when I got there, it was him and this guy and Aaron. So the two guys to me and took turns. His name's KP, Kenny Pettis Jr., and Aaron Coney. And Aaron Coney was the one that KP was saying is Big Sean's manager. Now, apparently they're all friends with Big Sean, I learned later, and they do know him, but they're not his management company, and it's certainly not his manager. So he used that, and I think because if you look on the internet, you can find a photo of Aaron with Big Sean. So I know that that's part of their MO. They will use any photos they've had with like a celebrity to prove something, credibility. But he basically was like, this is Big Sean's manager. And I was like, oh, cool. So they brought me into this house, and it was just so weird. Like, it was just so weird. God, no matter how many times I talk about it, like, I hate fucking talking about it. Like, it just grosses me out every time. But basically, he was in this house in Woodland Hills. There was a woman there, and then there was a small child, which is weird. But that's an important detail for later. I just clocked it as I walked in because we went straight into a room, and I thought there was going to be more people there. Like, he said something people in the studio, but I don't know if there was even a studio. He didn't bring me to a studio at the time because I was so new to LA in the industry. I hadn't found my voice yet. I was timid. I was like kind of always like seeking permission before speaking, or like not knowing how things work. So I'm not the same woman I am today. So when I went into the house, we went into this room. There was a woman in the living room and like a toddler. And I just noticed it. I don't know who they were. They didn't even acknowledge us or introduce us. And then we went into his room, and it was like a sliding glass door, and then it had like a curtain. And so it was basically, and there was a bed. So it was like his bedroom. So I don't know if this was like he actually rented like only a little room in a house, but he made it seem like this is my house. Like, I actually don't know, you know? And then he put music on, and he was like, they were really just trying to like get to know me and be kind of cool and make me feel comfortable. But they were talking to me about like Big Sean and this tour, and he was like, so you're a dancer? They were acting very interested in me and like what I'm doing out here in LA and when I moved here and stuff like that. And so, and then they wanted me to drink. And I said, no, thank you, I'm a lightweight. And I was like, and I'm driving, so I definitely, like, I'm a lightweight, I definitely don't want to drink. And then they didn't care that I said no. Like, I might as well have just been a brick wall. So they kept basically pushing me, and they're like, oh, come on. And they were like, no, it's gonna be good. Like, you just take a shot. And I was like, oh no, I definitely don't wanna do shots. I actually don't like shots. And they're like, no, we'll make it, like, it's not like normal, it'll taste good. And I was like, no. And then there's only so many times you can say no to where you're like, if I don't now say yes, are they gonna now blacklist me? Am I now like, oh, she doesn't, like, she can't even have one drink? Like there was just so many, so I was like, okay, fine. So then they made something, but this is after saying no multiple times. They made me, they gave me something, and it did taste like yummy. Like I couldn't really taste the alcohol. So he made me take like a little shot of something and then follow it up with another drink. And then he had made a drink. I didn't see them make a drink, but he'd given me like one of these red Solo cups that had whatever in it and had me drink that also. And he was right. It tasted fruity and yummy. I couldn't really, so I don't know, to this day, I don't know what was in there. And then they asked me to change my outfit because I was wearing sweatpants, like baggy sweats, and a shirt. I'd come from this like pool party, and I had changed from my bikini into like comfy clothes. And he was like, so I can't really see your body. And Big Sean is asking me right now, like he's messaging me, and he like shows me Snapchat as if like Big Sean messaging him. I don't know who it was. And he's like, so he wants to see what you look like, because like I told him you're here right now. And I was like, okay. And he's like, do you have something? He knew I was at a pool party, and he saw me like walk in and with my stuff. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, I have my bathing suit. And he was like, can you just change just so I can show, so I can just show him? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm like in this weird, uncomfortable, like I'm auditioning now is how I'm thinking. Like, okay, so I need to like prove myself. I need to like show them. So I go and I change into my bikini after they already made me drink. And then he's like, okay, and he's taking videos of me. Just like I'm talking to one guy who's taking videos of me, KP is, and then like sending them, and then he puts on music, and he's like, so you're a dancer? Like, what kind of music do you like? So then he puts on music, and then I just start like, now I'm like, okay, I need to prove myself, I'm dancing. And then what ended up happening, because my memory that night is chopped, but the first guy, Aaron, ends up putting me on the bed, and
there was something in the drink?
Yeah, I didn't know at the time. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. They roofied me. And he puts me on the bed, and he's like touching me everywhere. And I'm like, the best way that when I think back to this night and how I describe it is like, if you've ever been, and I know that there are people that have experienced this when you've been like, I don't know, drugged or fucked up, because it's not like when you're drunk, you still know what you're doing. I don't know how to explain it. But it was like I didn't have, like I was there, but I wasn't there. Like I didn't have my motor control. And almost like I was like but it's also not the same thing as being like a zombie either. It's like this out of body experience. I don't know how to describe it, but I know that when I tried to escape, I couldn't. Like I couldn't even walk. So and then he puts and then I like freaked out, and then he jumps off the bed, and he's like pulling his pants up, like jumps off the bed, and then I don't know how, it's almost like I came back, like I snapped to, and I'm like freak out, cause he's like, and then that's when I tried to escape. So the only thought in my head was like, I need to escape. Like I need to get out of here. And I don't actually know the state of my situation. Like I don't know if I had a bikini on still or if he had just moved everything over. I don't have a clear memory of that, but I do remember stumbling to the door, like trying to get to the door, the sliding glass door. And this is how I know for a fact I was drugged, because like I experienced a sensation that I'd never experienced before, which was like everything like was spinning in this like weird, I don't like participate in drugs normally. Like I haven't done them. So I just don't know what that was, you know? And so I couldn't walk. So everything is spinning. I stumble, fall into the door, and I go like this to get out. And then I see this small child, this toddler. And the only thing that, like, the only thought process, like, it was so fucked up because it's like, I'm trying to escape, and I'm like, I need to escape. And then I see a small, like, toddler, and I was like, this kid, and then I, like, started worrying about the toddler safety, and I was like, this kid isn't gonna be safe, like, if they see this, like whatever's happening right now. Like, it was like this weird, like, I don't know if it's just like I don't know if it's like an instinctive, like maternal instinct, even though I'm not a mom. Like, it was just like whatever's happening right now, like I can't put this kid at risk too. Like, I don't know why that was the only coherent thought that I have. So then I was like, I'm trapped. That's how I felt. And so then, like, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't fucking walk anyways. I stumbled back onto the bed, and I curled up in a ball, and I'm like cowering on the bed. And that's when KP came back in, and KP was the one that had invited me. So I thought KP was like coming back in to like save me from his fucked up friend that took advantage of me. And so then when KP comes back in, I'm like, oh, he's here. Like, he's the good guy. I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna like save me from his fucking, this weird guy. And then KP comes over to me on the bed, and he like kind of like I don't know if he sat down next to me, and he like holds me. And so I like go like this into him, thinking that like, okay, like I'm safe. But I'm like, I'm fucked up. I'm like just like this, I don't know. And then it blacks out. And then my next memory is and there's like nothing in between that. Oh, I hate that this still bothers me. It's almost like I talk about it so much, and like I'm also, no, I'm not gonna like blame it on PMS or like minimize this, but it's just like
it's a horrible, horrible thing to go through.
Yeah.
It just is.
And this is why we don't like, this is why people are always like, why didn't you tell someone? Why didn't you tell someone? Why didn't you go to the cops? Why didn't you talk about it? It's like, this is why. This is why. Like, we want to, we would rather pretend like it never fucking happened than relive it. And it's just like, I think like stealing someone's agency is one of the most evil, sinister things someone can do. And yeah, so that's what he did. There's a part of the story that I've never shared that I don't know if I should, because I am scared of the internet, even though I'm not scared of the internet. But it was such a psychologically traumatizing thing, because I wasn't there to like run agency on my body because I was drugged. But around that time period of my life, I wasn't very sexually active. So I was newly divorced and whatever. And I had met a couple people, but it wasn't like, whatever. I didn't have a high body count. Like, my ex-husband was like my first, like whatever. So the most fucked up thing about this was that I black out and I wake up, and it was the most like psychologically, like, I think, damaging part of this thing, because it made me feel, but it's like I wasn't there. And so I'm like, I stumble to the bathroom, and I'm like, still not understanding what happened. And couldn't drive, couldn't do it, the only thing, I was just very, I didn't understand what was happening. And so all I knew is that I needed to sleep. Like, I couldn't function. So, but I stumbled to the bathroom because I was just like, what's happening? And then I didn't even shower. I just was like washing, splashing myself with water, and then I put on my clothes, my sweatpants, and I was just I stumbled back to the bed and I fell asleep, and I slept. I woke up in the middle of the night, or it was all I don't know what time it was, but I woke up. Also, I had no concept of time, so I have no idea the time of how long this all took. It's doesn't feel real, right?
You were barely conscious.
Yeah, right, that part.
So you don't know anything.
I don't fucking know anything. But I do remember waking up and having this sensation in my mouth where I couldn't almost breathe. It was so dry that I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so that was another reason, another clue where I was another clue to realizing that I had been drugged. And I just woke up and I was like, water, water. I started saying the word water, and he woke up, got water, brought it back for me. I drank it, fell asleep. I wake up again, it's early, maybe it's 7:30, 8 in the morning. He has a little dog that he's gonna go take on a walk, and he's like, hey, I need you to leave so nothing looks weird. And I'm just quiet and getting my stuff and obeying, essentially. I don't know what happened. I feel fucking weird. And then I'm trying to remember what even the point of all this, of me being there was. And then he had mentioned, there was some things, things that he had been dangling on a string for me as far as jobs and opportunities. So I'm leaving and I'm like, wait, what about the thing you said? And he's like, yeah, I'll have my manager, or I'll have the manager reach out to you. Tanya will reach out to you. Tanya is not a real person, who then later had a fake email and was basically pretending to hire or cast for something. But there's no Tanya. And so I'm like, okay, I drive home. I text Aaron, I DM'd Aaron over Instagram that day, and I said, what happened last night? He never responded. He saw it, but never responded. I was trying to make sense of it. I was a shell for a while. I didn't leave the house. Around that time, I had started streaming on TikTok, thank God, because I found solace and community online. So I just felt that was my safe little world. So I would stream, and I would paint my custom sneakers, and I would listen to music. I would play Fortnite, and I would just stay home and stream. And then I started doing TikTok, and it was interesting because in hindsight, I see how that was this pivot of also where I was I felt so robbed by maybe the traditional sense of the industry. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. And then I found a safe space there where so then that's where I grew my TikTok following, and I started making skits, and I had this different persona that was this really goofy, cringy girl with pink hair, and I would make these funny skits. And it was this, I almost had this alter ego online that I realized later was this coping mechanism. And it was fun, it was great, and it built such a beautiful community that I'm so grateful for. But it's interesting now, having lived through it, and now I can see the whole picture zoomed out, you know? It was this alter ego that helped me through that time without realizing it. And then I remember the first time I told someone about it. I didn't understand what had happened. Thank you. I hope my makeup is not like, okay, I don't want to look crazy. The first time I told...
You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
You got to be horrifying to share this.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that, like, because I talk about it so much, and I also always say the more you talk about it, the easier it gets, which I do believe.
Is that happening?
The more, because I've talked about this a lot online, and I also do, I think right now I'm feeling a lot more about it also because I'm feeling this for all of the other women. Because there's like...
This happens a lot.
And there's but also with this abuser, there's like 20 of us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so like this is the first time I'm sharing my story again with also now this newfound knowledge that like he repeated this MO to so many other women in like different ways, but all the same playbook. And so it's just like, it's just so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Because it's like, I think about how how having it's like a betrayal. It's like it crushes your dreams. Like there's so many things. There's so many different trauma responses. I think a part of me felt like I had to hypersexualize myself after because I had to like make sure I still loved myself. Like there's these things, and then that balanced out. But I had like a time period where it was like I pendulum swung, and in hindsight, it was a coping mechanism of like this kind of trauma where you're like I'm trying to like grasp for my agency and my sovereignty, and like, how do I do that, And so that comes out in different ways. I didn't learn what a rape kit was until like way later. I didn't even know what a rape kit was. So people online, since I've been talking about it, they'll be like, you should have just gone to the police. You should have gone and done a rape kit. And then you wouldn't have to, and I was like, I didn't know. I'd never heard of a rape kit. I didn't know what a rape kit was. I didn't know what you're supposed to do when you get raped. Like, nobody was like, if you get raped, this is what you do. And it's like this weird thing where I'm grateful that like my upbringing was good. I was around, like my older brother always had his friends over and spent the night. And they were always like our protectors, like my sister and I, like when we were teenagers and everything, like anytime I was at school or something and somebody was bullying me, we would always be like, we're gonna tell our brother, like Alex is gonna, and then my brother would be like, he would always protect us. And if my brother wasn't there, we could always go to one of my brother's friends, and they were like all of our protectors. So I am lucky to have grown up around good men and good boys and like people that like when they say something, they mean it. Like, if you say, I'm a casting director, I think that you're a casting director because you just told me that. So it's like, my first instinct is not gonna be like, you're a scammer, you're trying to like traffic me. So it was like this rude awakening to the world and
not speaking about it it's usually what happens. I've interviewed people both older and much, much younger than when this happened to you.
Yeah.
And in all cases, they don't say anything for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah, like meaning tell people what happened.
Yeah, you just shut up about it.
Yeah, and also...
It's less embarrassing, it's less uncomfortable, it's less everything.
Yeah, all the shame for some reason gets put on the victim, which is so weird. It's so weird, and I would love to end that weird stigma of like, why? If I'm talking about this, why is the shame landing on me and not the rapists? Like, what the fuck? It's so weird. And that's where the shame should lie.
I mean, if this guy is going through life doing this, like he should be outed.
Exactly.
In the worst possible way. Exactly.
That's how I feel. But we don't know this, and we don't have, and unfortunately, I think that we have a lot of work to do with like legal systems and the justice system. But when I finally went to the cops 2 years later, I also didn't go because I didn't think that I didn't know you're supposed to. I didn't know you're supposed to do a rape kit. I had asked somebody for advice who was a lawyer, and the advice that I got wasn't good advice, unfortunately. He was like, yeah, these things happen all the time, and unfortunately it's his word against yours, so if there's no evidence, then there's nothing that like I can do. And it made me feel like I had to, like, I couldn't tell anybody about it. Like, I had to shut up about it. But in my head, I knew deep down, I was like, there's no way I am the only girl. Like, there's no way I'm the only person that he's done this to. But for the longest time, I felt like I was. I felt like I must have been stupid. I must have been so dumb. I must, like, all of these things, like, where the shame was landing on me. Like, I kept replaying it in my head. I was like, what should I have done differently? And I was like, but he told me this, this, and this. And then so it's like...
You did nothing wrong.
It's a mind fuck. And we want to believe that people are good, right? But so when I came out about this in 2022, because I had this other incident happen, I got assaulted in Vegas by this man. It went that was walking by me in the lobby. This whole thing went viral because my friend at the time recorded it, and the guy got away. And because of that video, I posted it because basically security didn't do their job. Like, they didn't catch him. They could have caught him. They didn't catch him. Like, and so I posted that video because I was like, this guy's a creep. Vegas, you should know about it. Like, he was an employee at the Palazzo where this happened, which is insane. Like,
he works there. There's
he
cameras.
was an employee. There was cameras. Like, and even when you watch the video is like several minutes long. There's so much time between me saying, this guy grabbed me, put his hand up my skirt, because I grabbed him by the collar, I slapped him, and I said, don't fucking touch me. And then he bolted, because he was guilty, and then he ran into the bathroom. I stood outside waiting for him to come out. He comes out, he had like changed his shirt, slicked it, like made his hair, like he tried to like change his appearance. Comes out, and I'm standing there, not letting him, he was short. So I'm standing there like to like not, so he can't get by me. Security is like they didn't give a fuck. And so they just took forever. And people are like, this happens all the time in Vegas. Okay, so why is that normal? Like, then do something about it. That's what's so insane to me. They're like, yeah, this happens a lot. Well, then fucking do something about it. Like, I didn't even go after the hotel. I never sued them. I should have, but I didn't. Like, because I didn't know. I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking like, get justice because this man's a creep. And if he's doing this in public, what's he doing behind closed doors? That was my concern. Because I posted that video, it got like 27 million views. I was on the news in Vegas, and then because of the heat and the pressure, then finally the guy got caught. They showed up, they arrested him. The guy had nothing to say. He was like, he just admitted that he was guilty because he was guilty. They had a video, so he was just basically like, whatever, like they took him to jail. And I pressed charges, whatever, a year later. And even that, I had to be a bulldog about it. Like, I was like so annoying. I would call the DA, I'd be like, what's happening? Like, you think I'm gonna forget about this? I'm not gonna fucking forget about it. And it's just crazy, like how the system is just like, I don't know if they're too overwhelmed or overworked or whatever, but. And so then I ended up winning that case because I was a psycho bulldog and used social media. That is why, point blank period. Like, I have nobody to thank except for my fucking self and the power of the internet, because.
Social media is a powerful tool.
It's incredibly powerful. But it's unfortunate where I'm like, we have all these resources, but like, I'm sorry, I have nobody to fucking thank, literally, except for my own, like, I don't know, like, persistence.
No, I think you're the third or fourth person I've interviewed who basically outed their
like abuser
here on my channel.
Yeah.
And those videos get blocked and age restricted and all that because people are reporting it. Probably the guy and his and all his cohorts, or who knows who. But it's not easy, but it happens. It's just too racy for a platform like YouTube or Facebook.
And I get that, because also in my video I just said the word. I said I was raped. I don't like sugarcoating it because we're supposed to. Like, there's all this sugarcoating that happens, and it's like, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. Like, they're rapists and they raped me. Like, can we stop watering it down to make people feel uncomfortable? Can you imagine how I felt when I was so you want me to fucking make you feel comfortable? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, and that's, I think, an uncomfortable conversation. But if we don't have uncomfortable conversations, nothing will change.
Nothing will change.
Nothing will change. And is a very uncomfortable conversation, but it has to happen because like that's the only way we're going to change the narrative, especially for future generations. And it's like there's so much weird stuff normalized in the industry. Like it's such a common thread. Like I know that my story is not unique, especially because once I did finally talk about it, then all these other women started coming forward. Women that were abused by the same man or women that just had similar stories, and men too. Like, it's not also just women. It's like, it's scary. And that incident in Vegas is what made me realize that if I don't do something about what happened, like it basically brought all of that to the forefront because I had pushed that away. Like we try to bury it so that we can like, you know, enjoy our lives, right? But that dealing with all of that, it made me, I was like, holy shit, if I don't do something, nothing's gonna, like this, I was like, no, there's no way I'm the only woman that he did that to. So that's when I went to the cops. And like the whole process is uncomfortable, but it is what it is. I went to the cops and then I started slowly talking about it on social media, but I would always go to TikTok. TikTok felt like a safer place to expose it because I knew that the industry like lived more on Instagram and were on my Instagram. So I knew that if I posted on Instagram, it would be scarier than if I posted on TikTok, even though I had a bigger following on TikTok, which was interesting. So I actually didn't have the guts to post it on Instagram until 2024. And that was the first time I ever, on May 5th, 2024, that's when I did a post. And it was just like a text post. And I said, that was the first time I ever said his name and was like, Kenneth Pettis Jr. Drugged and raped me with his friend Aaron. And I explained what happened. And then that post started getting numbers in the community, like in Los Angeles. And at the time, like first it was 2 women, then it was 3, then it was 4, then it was 5. I think then it was like 6 women that had come forward and were like, I was also by KP, or I was by KP to this guy, and I think his friend me, I don't remember, I was drugged. So there was like, just like this slew of other stories that were like mine, and they were like, this is what he would say, this is how he would do it, which made me feel not crazy. And then also I was like, holy shit, like he's been doing this. Like one of the girls goes back to like 2016 or something. So I'm like, oh, he's been doing this. And then one of the girls was more recent, like where it was like 2023. And so, which is what pissed me off because when I did go to the cops, and one of the things I was very clear about, I was like, I don't want any other woman to go through what I went through. Like, I think I'm kind of insane, and I'm in this sense that I do feel like I'm a very resilient individual. But like, this shit will fuck you up. And I'm like, and I know there are a lot of other trauma responses that could have happened. Like I could have turned to alcoholism, I could have turned to drugs, I could have turned to, like there's so many things that could have happened as a like chain of events, you know, as a result of that initial canon event. And that's what pisses me off the most, where I was like, we can't just have these rapists just like going out and about pretending like they're good people. So then after those women came forward, I went with a couple of them to the cops. Because I wish I had someone that was like, hey, this happened to me, I'll come with you, because that shit's scary. But I didn't. So I was like, let me see if I can be that person. So I was like, hey, if you need me to go to the cops, I will go with you because it's scary. So I went with 2 of the girls. They never corroborated my case with theirs, which is insane. And then one of them, they didn't even take her report because she had crossed state lines into Vegas. Because that's what he does. He would also women across state lines for jobs. And then they would end up in dangerous situations, not realizing what he had actually set them up to do in a hotel. And like when they're thinking that they are being hired for like a dancing job or something like that. So that's what happened. That was a specific thing that happened with my friend. And a couple of the other girls. that came forward. So basically, the other detail is that he's also a registered sex offender, like long before me, way before me. But he's not on the website publicly, and I could not get an answer from my detective as to why. And she was like, he's definitely a registered sex offender, and I was like, why can't I find him? And she was just like, I'm not sure, but it's here, it's in his file. So I was like, okay. When they brought him in for questioning, they just said no, and then my case was dropped. And I tried to reopen my case last year, and it was just like, I just didn't feel like anybody gave a shit.
So your case went nowhere?
My case went nowhere.
Wow.
My case went absolutely nowhere. And it actually was dropped before I came out about it in 2024, which is why I have been screaming into the void over the years, because I'm like, if law enforcement doesn't give a shit, like he's a registered sex offender, but they don't want to put his name publicly for some reason, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to keep talking about it until someone listens. So that's what I did. I just kept talking about it. And then every once in a while, a girl would reach out and she would be like, hey, I found your video, and I had this run-in with him. I want to tell you about it. So there's so many corroborating witnesses, and on top of plus victims, that there's so many now. And so the last time I spoke out about it, which was this Cinco de Mayo, because every Cinco de Mayo, I'm reminded this was the night that it happened. And so I make a fucking post about it because it pisses me off that he's still gallivanting in Los Angeles, doing these events, getting hired, like interviewing people that are like artists. And I'm like, he is not a safe man. Like, he is a literal threat to society. And so I made another video on May 5th, 2020, or May 5th this year. That video, the one that you saw that was the first time I put their faces, and I was just like, what do I have to lose? Like, nothing is worse than what happened to me that night. Nothing is worse than that incident. So that has been kind of a North Star. Every time I do go to speak up about it, or go to talk about it, or go to make another video, I'm just like, what was worse than that? Oh, nothing. So what my stakes are what? Like, it already affected my career in different ways, but at the end of the day, like, I'm too much on like the principle of it. Like, it pisses me off too much that I'm like, I'm a Capricorn, I'll figure out how to make money. If a brand doesn't want to work with me because I'm public about this, it's not in alignment, and that's okay. And that's kind of been my, like, the thing that I've always had to tell myself, because it did affect me. It did affect my career. Like, as someone who's publicly online and makes content and this and that, and like, brand deals are part of that. Like, you want to be brand safe and brand friendly. And I'm like, these guys drugged and raped me. That's, some people don't want to, some brands are not going to want to work with me because it's perceived as messy or controversial or whatever it is. And I kind of just, after I had my first like incident that had gone viral about that, I just like accepted it as part of my journey, that I would figure it out regardless, because the principle was a higher priority than a brand deal, if that makes sense. And I lost friends over the thing that happened in Vegas. Like, that was a sponsored thing through the hotel. And the girl that had organized it cut me off after I went viral for the man assaulting me. And it was just such a weird thing to me, where I was like, where are your morals at? That's how I felt about it. So I was like, oh, I thought you were like a best friend, and you chose money over doing the right thing. So it was just something that I was like, oh, I never want to, I don't want to be that person. So that's why I've just kept talking about it. And I'm just like, I'll yap into the void all day long until something happens, until there's a change. And this last time, now the number is up to like 20, or maybe 21. There's about 21 that I'm aware of, different victims of KP. So that's an absurd number. It's too much. And I won't stop talking about it until I get justice. For us, for all of us. And then also to make sure that everybody knows that this is not normal. Like, this is not, like, Hollywood doesn't play like this anymore. I know that has been the narrative, like, oh, that's what you do. You like casting couches and the Me Too movement, Harvey Weinstein's and all of this stuff. And it's like, let's not do that anymore. Let's just not. Like, we can just decide, this is fucked up. Like, if we were here for the art, which most of us are, if you ask most actors and actresses and models and musicians and dancers, like, what are we here for? Are we here to get a job? No, we're here for the art. So it's like, it's a very evil thing, I think, for someone to take a little girl's dream, because most of the people that are here in Hollywood or that come out here is because we have like a dream. Like, we love the art, we love storytelling. And so then it's like, to take something that's actually so pure at its core and like twist it into something so sinister and rip you of your agency, and to like, it's so evil to me. It's so evil. And yeah, so I won't shut the fuck up about it.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
And let's hope things change.
I think they will.
For these two guys and for others that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And women and men that are victims of it.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible thing.
Yeah. That's pretty much my story. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're doing better now?
Yeah. Yes,
You left LA?
I did leave LA in 2024 after I had gone on a podcast with Lisa Phillips. And that's when I went to South Africa. And I think that was good. I needed a break. I love LA, but I needed a break. And I will say that, like, considering the fact that happened at the beginning of my journey in my career and at the onset of me arriving to Los Angeles, I am proud of where I am today because I kept making my own lane. And that's what I just kept doing. Like, I've made music videos, I've creative directed, I've produced, I've choreographed, I've danced on stage in LA. Like, I basically somehow managed to cross off my goals and a lot of bucket list things that I wanted to do. I booked movies, like, I got to do, like, I did a bunch of things that I really wanted to do. And built a beautiful community of good people in LA, of like a really beautiful community, which I'm very grateful for. And yeah, but it's kind of like, that took a lot of grit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it took a lot of, like...
To do what you did.
It took a lot of grit, and it's like...
Fuck yes, it did.
I don't think, like, guys, like, let's not make it that dramatic. Like, it doesn't have to be like that if we just start to call things for what they are, like, as they are, you know? So I think, I will say, like, an uplifting thing is because I've been talking about it a lot more, and because now there's so many victims about it, and it's circulated a lot in Los Angeles in the industry, I feel hopeful about the future for artists and for people that are well-intentioned and are here for the art, you know? And so, yeah, based off of what I'm seeing in a lot of the conversations online, at first it used to just only be women that were like, confiding in me and supporting me, and I've seen now a lot more men to reach out and be like, hey, I saw your post, I shared it with my mutuals, like, this is not okay. Like, people that are also in the industry as well. When I say the industry, I'm talking about, like, the arts, entertainment, movies, like, music, all of that stuff, which I think I gathered by now.
It really could be any industry, though.
It's true. It could literally be any industry.
It could be anybody, anywhere.
These guys actually, I guess, were doing a lot of stuff in the, like, Comic-Con and going to these convention centers where, like, the Power Rangers and stuff go, and, like, people that dress up in that world. And actually, YouTuber reached out to me and was like, hey, I've been actively trying to out this guy, Aaron Coney and KP, because this girl when she was 16. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that had nothing to do with me, so I'm not, like, it was just another confirmation of like, I'm not insane, let's get these rapists locked up. That's how I feel. Like, it was just like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But also, it also makes sense. Maybe that's why he got labeled as a registered sex offender. Maybe it was that case, because that was like dated way back to 2016 or something. So I don't really know. I do know that I'm going to keep talking about it though, and I'm going to get justice, and it's going to be a great day when that happens.
Well, I'm happy to help you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you should be very proud.
Thank you.
You're very strong.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
When I was designing the first Soft-White Underbelly book, I realized that there were so many great portraits that weren't going to make it into that book. They just wouldn't fit. And once I saw how well that first book sold, I knew I'd have to design a second book. This second book is finally ready to ship. Like the first one, this book has a collection of some of the best portraits from Soft-White Underbelly, accompanied by a quote from that person's interview. This book features another group of Rebecca portraits, as well as a collection of color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty of others. You can order yours for $125 or $150 for a signed copy at softwhiteunderbelly.org. Again, like the first book, once this book is sold out, I will not be printing more of them. The portraits are what Soft-White Underbelly is all about, and these two books contain the best of all that work. Thank you for watching.